A good doctor doesn't walk in and say, you know what, I hadn't asked you any questions, I don't know your symptoms, I don't know anything about you, but here, just take this antibiotic, good luck. And I was like, well, no, sir, my leg is broken. This antibiotic, while it might ward off an infection, is not going to fix my leg. A good doctor comes in and asks questions. They put you through tests. They'll give you an x-ray, a CT scan. They'll ask, what if I do this? What if I do that? What are your symptoms? How long have they been lasting? Blah, 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 blah. Open question, open question, open question, open question, open question. Every now and then they'll ask a closed question like, if I do this, does it hurt? Yes or no? Because they need to know, like, here's some specific information. Great. Now that I have all the information, now I can prescribe the right treatment for you. It's the same thing as a realtor. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm John Darden, and this is the Elite Realtor Experience, a podcast dedicated to agents ready to take the next step in becoming elite. The best realtors, the best salespeople in general, they ask good questions. I always like to tell a story that I learned from good old David Knox, old school real estate trainer that I appreciate his humor. However, it is not kosher in 2021. Pretty sure David Knox is canceled. Anyway, he used to tell stories. You walk into a camera store. You want to buy a camera, and you've got two different salespeople. You walk up to the counter and say to one salesperson, "Hey, I need to buy a camera," and the first salesperson says, "Okay, well, there's this one. It's got this shutter speed and this f-stop and blah, 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 all these rattles off all these things. It's priced at this, and you got this one, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one." And you at the counter are scratching your head going, "What?" And then you've got the other salesperson that you walk up to and you say, "Hey, I need to buy a camera." And that salesperson says, "Well, tell me what you like to take video of, or what do you like to take pictures of? Okay, do you shoot in day or night? Okay, well, tell me about your lighting. Are you needing to record audio? What type of scenes are you looking for?" Asks all these great questions and then says, "Okay, based off of what you're telling me, I would suggest you buy this camera because." They both recommend the same camera, let's say, but you as the consumer, you're walking away being much more educated and knowing, okay, this salesperson, I really connected to this one versus this one. The only difference is the second person asked the right question. So I want to dive into questions when it comes to real estate and what kind of questions good realtors ask, how you should ask them, when you should ask them. And this is a podcast that could last 2 hours because questions can go on and on and on and on. I can give all kinds of examples of good questions, bad questions, when to ask this one at this time, when to ask this one at this time. But we're just going to break it down simply into two types of questions. You've got open questions and you've got closed questions. And there's an appropriate time to ask open, and there are appropriate times to ask closed questions. So let me give you an example. A closed question would be, are you ready to hire me to be your realtor? What makes it a closed question? It makes it a closed question because it elicits either a yes or a no. Another good closed question would be, have you definitely decided to buy a new home? Have you definitely decided to sell your home? I want to elicit a yes or no question, or a yes or no response. Closed questions force people into a bit of a corner. We're really trying to push them to give us a response. And again, there are appropriate times to ask closed questions. There are inappropriate times to ask closed questions, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. Open questions, on the other hand, are questions that elicit a conversation. Much more of an in-depth response where the person who is responding to the question has to be a little more thoughtful in their approach. Where you may say, have you definitely decided to buy a home? That's a closed question. I need a yes or a no. You could frame it in this way. Well, if I found you the perfect home today, what would you do? What would you do is an open question because I can't answer yes or no to that question. It makes no sense. Well, I would probably have to wait. Okay, why? Why is the greatest open question in the history of sales? Why is probably the most phenomenal question in any scenario, in any situation, whether it's sales or interpersonal communication, you with your significant other, like, I'm really mad at you, Bailey. Why? Because you said blah, blah, blah. Okay. Tell me more about why that upset you. Why is a phenomenal question that elicits a deeper response. Now, an open phrase, a phrase that leads to more conversation. This is a side note. The greatest sales phrase in the history of sales is, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Have you definitely decided to buy a home? Well, we're not sure. Tell me more about that. I am guiding them to give me a greater response. Have you definitely decided to buy a home? Close question. What if I found you the perfect home today? What would you do? What if I brought you a contract with the perfect sales price and the perfect terms? Would you sell your home? Yes or no? That's a close question. What would you do if I brought you a phenomenal buyer with a great sales price and the perfect terms? Open question. Times where I'm asking open, times where I'm asking closed. And I keep scratching my nose because I haven't trimmed my beard under my nose. So whenever there's certain like consonants when I say it, it tickles my nose. So if you're watching it, I apologize because every now and then I'm just going to be scratching my nose today. Open versus closed questions. When is it an appropriate time for me to ask a closed question versus an open question? Well, let me give you some scenarios. Internet lead, Realtor.com lead, Zillow. Zillow connects you and immediately you answer the phone and you say, hello, this is John with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Blue Realty, how are you today? Actually, you don't need to ask how are you today. You need to get to the point. What can I help you with? Open question. What can I tell you about this home? Open question. Would you like to go see the home? Closed question. When would you like to see the home? Open question. There are certain times where I want to ask open, certain times where I want to ask closed. Let me tell you a good time to ask an open question versus a closed. Realtor.com lead. You call them. They answer. Hey, this is John, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Blue Realty saw that you wanted more information about the home at blah, 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 blah. When would you like to see the home? Open question. They can't tell me yes or no. Hey, this is John with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Blue Realty. Would you like to see the home? No, click. Poor time to ask a closed question. Why? Because I'm not at closing time. I'm still at conversation time. And here's the distinction between open and closed. If it's closing time, I'm asking a closed question. If it's conversation time, if I still need more, if I'm still trying to build rapport, if I'm still trying to break the walls down, if I still need more information, I'm asking open questions. Here's an example of when you're trying to further the conversation, but you accidentally ask a closed question. Is this the neighborhood y'all are looking for? Yes. Oh, crap. What do I say next? Are there any other neighborhoods y'all are interested in? Yeah, actually, we would check out this area and this area and this area and this area too. Okay, well, tell me more about that. That's a lot of areas. Why so many? Tell me more about that. Why? Open questions, open phrases. I want to get into conversation with them. Open conversation or open questions again lead to more conversation, and you have to be able to distinguish when am I still dialoguing in open conversation? Going back to the camera illusion that we talked to, not illusion, image, not even imagery, example. Lord have mercy. The camera example that we were talking about here just a minute ago. The first salesperson was just, they were closing in the beginning. We got this, I think you need this one. I mean, they closed from the get-go, and the person that wanted to buy the camera was like, whoa, they're not ready for the close yet. Too many people, realtors, they're trying to close too quick, and they're asking too many closed questions in the beginning, and it's very abrupt, and it doesn't feel right, and it rubs people the wrong way, and you feel like a sleazy salesperson. It feels gross, feels nasty. They're out. The second salesperson understood, I'm still in conversation rapport building mode. I don't know what you need yet. I don't know what you're looking for. I don't even know how I can help you. The only way that I can figure that out is to ask open questions that get you to dialogue. Is this the neighborhood that you're looking for? No. What other areas would work for you and your family. Is this for you and your family? Yes. Tell me more about your family. What are the things that you all are looking for in a home? Is it just a subtle, distinct difference that leads people to just, yes, getting annoyed, no, or opening them up to more conversation? Well, it's me and my significant other and our 4 children, and we homeschool, and we are looking for 10 acres, a place to spread out, have some chickens, and blah. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. They're engaging them in more conversation until you're at the point where you feel like, I've got a solution for you. It's the idea that a good salesperson diagnoses first and then prescribes. A good doctor doesn't walk in and say, you know what, I hadn't asked you any questions. I don't know your symptoms. I don't know anything about you, but here, just take this antibiotic and good luck. And I was like, well, no, sir, my leg is broken. This antibiotic, while it might ward off an infection, is not going to fix my leg. A good doctor comes in and asks questions. They put you through tests. They'll give you an x-ray, a CT scan. They'll ask, what if I do this? What if I do that? What are your symptoms? How long have they been lasting? Blah, 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 blah. Open question, open question, open question, open question, open. Every now and then they'll ask a closed question like, if I do this, does it hurt? Yes or no? Because they need to know, like, here's some specific information. Great. Now that I have all the information, now I can prescribe the right treatment for you. It's the same thing as a realtor. And we have to understand the subtle differences between asking an open question, which increases dialogue, builds rapport, creates a conversation, versus a closed question. Let me give you some examples of when you would use a closed question. You're showing home. And in this crazy, crazy market, we need buyers to make decisions. We need buyers to make decisions fast. Hey, y'all, is this the home for you? Hey, you want to put an offer on this home? Hey, is this the home that you all can see yourself in? Yes or no? And if it's no, then boom, we need to move on to the next one. Like, we got to go. We ain't got time to waste. You ain't got time to think about it. You got to make a decision. And as the agent, it's my job to put them in the frame of mind to close. Is this the home we want? Yes or no? Because we ain't got time to think about it. Sitting down in a listing consultation. Are you all ready to hire me to represent you to market your home? Yes or no? And if it's no, why? Tell me more. What am I missing? Now I'm back to open questions because I need to engage them in some more dialogue at this point. I need to start a conversation. I need to reestablish rapport because I obviously didn't do a good job. There's something that I missed. There's something I don't know or don't understand. Then, once I've reestablished that, gone back over the marketing, whatever, established myself as the expert, shown them the benefits of hiring me to represent them, all the marketing that we do, the things we do to create a bidding war and to up the price and to make it really easy. Now I come back to, now, with all that said, are you all ready to hire me to represent you to sell your home? Yes or no? Have you definitely decided to buy a new home? No. Why? Tell me more. If they're not sure, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not wasting a ton of time showing them a ton of homes when I'm not sure they're going to buy. Why? Because I've got too many other people that I got to work with, and I'm communicating that to them. Like, I'll give you a freebie. You'll get a free showing out of me, sure. And if I can wet the whistle to get them going, then great. Well, what do y'all think if we looked at a couple of homes? Do you think it would help persuade you one way or another? Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Okay, cool. That's a close question. Now I have a course of action. Now the treatment is show them some homes, as opposed to, I didn't even ask them. Like, y'all are looking to buy a home. Okay, great. Tell me your budget. Tell me your price range. Now I'm going to go show you. And I show 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 and I show, and they're flaky. They ghost me. And then finally they respond and say, oh, we signed another 6-month lease. And you're like, what just happened? And you ask them, so tell me more. Like, why? Oh, well, we weren't ever really like dead set on buying a home. Guess whose fault that is? Yours. Why? You didn't ask. Let me tell you the 3 most important sales questions. This is a little side note. 3 most important real estate questions. It's really, really simple. Number 1, have you definitely decided to buy? Or on the flip side, have you definitely decided to sell? Most important question, number 1. Number 2, What's the perfect time frame for you? When? Close your eyes, snap your fingers. When are you making this move? When are you selling a home? When are you buying a new one? When are you moving in? And number 3, if I found you the perfect home today, what would you do? If I brought you the perfect contract, perfect buyer, what would you do? Would you sell the home? Yes, no, open, closed. You see, I can phrase those a lot of different ways depending on the situation. Not necessarily trying to get them to do, because we don't manipulate people. What information I'm trying to get is whether I frame it as an open question or a closed question. Again, that's a little side note there, a little extra tidbit for you. But again, to kind of wrap this up so I'm not rambling too much, questioning is the most important thing we do when we're sitting down with a client. Asking the right questions. Too many realtors, we skip this step. It's why my training for new agents, when you're working with a buyer, the first thing you do is a buyer interview. When you're working with a seller, the first thing you do is a seller interview. Like, we sit them down and we interview them and we ask them pertinent, open, and closed questions. Most of them are open questions. The best questions to establish a connection, to get information, is to ask open questions. When it's time to close, I'm asking a closed question. I mean, you just got to think about that. Should I ask a closed question right now? Is it time to close? Is there a bit of information I just need a yes or a no? If I'm still trying to continue a conversation with them, I don't need to ask a closed question. What's your budget? Is your budget $200,000? No. I mean, you could follow that up with an open question, or you could just stop wasting your breath and say, what is your budget? Do you have any latitude on that? What if the perfect home were $225? Would you want me to show it to you? Closed question, John. Yes, because I want to know, what's the hard, fast rule? What's your budget? John, our budget's $200,000. Okay, if the perfect home was $205, do you want me to show it to you? Yes or no? I'm trying to close them. Okay, now that you've seen the overwhelming marketing that we do, are you ready to hire me to represent you to sell your home? No. Okay, tell me more about that. Well, we don't want to pay commission. Now I'm definitely open and asking open questions. Okay, well, tell me more. Like, what about my marketing do you see that doesn't generate a higher sales price for you? What piece of my marketing would you cut to then make up for the reduction in commission? Well, do you understand that sometimes when you reduce marketing, oftentimes you're reducing your sales price as well? Do you understand that at the end of the day, it's about what I put in your pocket, not about how much you pay me? Closed question. I'm trying to really rein them in at that point. Open question, open question, open. When it's time to close, boom. Closed question. I said this early in the podcast. This is a conversation that we could make last hours, because I could just throw a million different questions at you and tell you when to use them at the appropriate time. You're going to kind of have to play around with this a little bit. But at the end of the day, there's certain times to ask closed questions. Let's say, for instance, you are doing the Explode Challenge that I talked about in my last podcast, and you're calling through your sphere, and you ask the question, have you guys had any thoughts of buying or selling anytime in the next year? It's a closed question, yes or no. And something like the Explode Challenge, I'm just trying to kind of go through quantity here. So I want to ask that question to as many people as possible, get to the point, close it, boom, done. Great. Then I'm going to follow up with an open question. Out of everybody that you know, who would be the next to make a move? Not, do you know anybody that would want to buy or sell? Because then that's easy for them to say no, as opposed to, out of everyone you know, who would be the next to make a move? They can't say no to that. They got to think through. At worst case scenario, they say, I don't know. Okay, fine. At least they thought about it and I put the bug in their ear. Maybe they'll come up with somebody later. Every situation, cold calling, sphere, working with a buyer, working with a seller, working with another realtor, lender, it doesn't matter. Most of what we do when it comes to communication should be asking questions, should be asking pertinent questions. And if you can understand the subtle differences between when you should ask a closed question versus when you should ask an open question, then you can grow your business leaps and bounds. And you can even make the whole process much simpler, much smoother, stop wasting time, close more deals, put more money in the bank just by learning to ask an open question when you're trying to continue conversation and asking a closed question when you're trying to close. Did you pay attention to everything I just said. If it's no, rewind, watch it again. If it's yes, rewind and watch it again anyway. Catch you in the next one.